Hello and welcome to BierTier, the German engineer. Today we are back with episode 37 of season 2 of our current Let's Play series, and this is, of course, oxygen not included. Yes, we are finally back, and you can see it, our rovers are still happily at work. And there's one more thing, yes, our dupes are here as well. So I would say, let's bring him down here right away. And here we are, just as promised, on the star map, and of course we're going to select our rocket, change the destination, and we will land it on Ughista right away. So let's take a look onto Ughista, not Abundino, but Ughista please, there we go. And our rocket should be somewhere up here in this red mess, please. And there we have it, slowly but steadily it's spawning in, and it's coming down all the way. And of course it is producing one hell of a lot of heat. And we will see that here very shortly. This entire orange area here is going to go dark red. Alright, rocket, you could really turn off your engines now? Please? Really? Okay, there we have it. You can see it. Everything's hot. And our dupes are here. And of course, they're immediately getting hurt because for some reason, they are not wearing any suits. That is very suboptimal. Walk over there, leave this area as fast as you can, let all this carbon dioxide here vent out into space, and then we can start building. The very first thing that I want to build over here on Ughista, now that we have our two dupes, is of course in stations. And in stations, we need to find us an atmosuit checkpoint. I already deconstructed these 3 tiles right here. They used to be there, but not anymore. And we're going to build it. Not out of steel though, that is a little bit too valuable for this job. So we're going to plop it down, and then 2 atmosuit docks. In F2, we're just going to plop in a little bit of power. And of course in F7, we also got to connect in some oxygen. So let's do exactly that. But that is not all, because last time around we had some problem with stress. And what is a good way to get rid of stress? And a very simple way? Yes, carpeted tiles. And that is exactly what we are going to do in the areas where the dupes are going to be most. For example, right here, or right there, all along here, over to the right, and of course here a little bit as well. And where else can we plop some in? Really nowhere else for right now. Well, actually, eventually I want to get rid of this here so we can already get started and plop them into here as well. Because our way to get over there is right now right here, but eventually it's going to be down here so we can gain a little bit more space in the middle. So dupes and rovers, let's get it done. While we are building our carpeted tiles, as well as our atmosuit docks over on Ughista, right over here on Ingenium, there are 2 projects that I want to get started with. So let's start with the first one. Right over here on the left side, on the very top of our dirty industrial brick, we have some salt water. And the salt water here is going to come in handy. So let's zoom in and let's plop in a pump. Because this salt water here, we will need it. And we don't need a hell of a lot, so yeah, something like this here should get the job done. And then with normal liquid pipes all the way through the top here, let's see, let's come along here. We really are trying to get to space, and how we get there doesn't really matter too much. Yes, all the way through here, all the way to the top and into there. That is what we want. So now we need a little bit of power. Let's take a look at that as well. Here we have our heavy watt wire, so we can just grab that. Not a pipe, the heavy watt wire. Thank you. There we go. And there we will hook it up. Well, actually, I'm not going to hook it up yet. Nip this here off. That should get the job done because I don't want to start it up just yet. But once again, this is only the first strike. For the second strike, I have zoomed out all the way and turned the overlay off so we can clearly see it. Yes, we can see most of this planetoid right here, but over here on the right, we have some dark spots. And especially right here, yes, right there, we have a big dark space. And that is probably the entry point that I'm going to use to get to the rest of it, because I definitely want to see what else is going on Ingenium. So let's get started with that as well. Down here on the bottom, we already have a ladder, so why not keep using it? We're going to plop it all the way to the top and right here as well. And then another hanging pot, maybe right there, just so we can counteract all these germs, because we have a lot of slime lung germs right here, and we certainly have to do something about that. So that's going to be the first thing that we need. And then let's go into oxygen, grab us a deodorizer, and right here, yes, eventually, right there is going to be a deodorizer. That should work. And then we're going to plop it to right there. That should do, no problem at all. And once all this here is built, we will start digging over towards the right. And over here on Abundino, yes, we're also not going to be lazy, because over here, since we plopped in those extra repo generators, even though we have a hell of a lot of solar panels, they are still not enough to keep us alive. And especially down here, yes, these hydrogen generators here are also not enough. So we need to expand, and that is exactly what we are going to do. We're going to go 4 high, and we're going to plop something like this in. And we're gonna go 4 high again and plop something like this here in. And we're gonna dig all this up. And we're gonna dig all of this stuff here up as well. So far, so good. Now we're just gonna grab the hydrogen generator and plop in here as many as we can, which is a total of 3. Then we're gonna go to base and we're gonna plop in 2 maybe. Yeah, 2 gas reservoirs, that will certainly do. And that already looks pretty decent. Our power, nothing's gonna change with that. Gonna come through here, no problem at all. With our automation wire, same thing right there. We're going to come up to the top and plop it all in something like this here. And then F7, we're going to make some drastic changes because we're going to come along the top here, plop it in here and there. And then we're going to come out the bottom right here and then all the way down. Something just like this here. Yes, that should get the job done. When all this here is built, I'm going to cut these 2 connections right here. And then we are going to feed our hydrogen out of our 2 wonderful reservoirs because those don't require any power. So as long as these here are filled, our hydrogen generators will run. I have caught this system here off camera being completely down because we ran out of hydrogen in our lines right here. And down here, yes, our pump stopped working as well. And that is of course a problem. So we are going to fix that right away. And now just a tiny little bit later, most everything has been built and is ready to go. And unfortunately, our rovers are dead. Yes, the battery ran out, but it is what it is and it's not a big deal. There's the second one. There it is. All right, we're going to get rid of you as well. So before we do anything here in the middle, over here on the left side, I really want to put in a stable. So before we do anything else, let's plop tiles in here. And then let's take a look here. 96 tiles is what we need, and it's barely visible, but right there we have 96. So let's come straight across here all the way to right there, and then all the way down to here. Put in a pneumatic door, go to stations, and then grab us where we at a grooming station. We need 2 spaces, 1 right here, and then in food, we need of course a critter drop off at the very beginning, and then a critter feeder right beside it. And there is going to be our wonderful stable. That is not all though, because we don't have the skill for it either. So let's take a look into skills, and then let's take a look at to silence and plays. He has a morale need of 15, Versace has a morale need of 21. Therefore, silence and plays, you're gonna be the first one, and you're going to get critter ranching. All right, so far we're looking pretty decent. Now we just gotta get this here built, and then we can start with the main project for this episode. And now at the beginning of cycle 698, all of this here has been built, our stable is done, and once again, just to check it, sure enough, it's 96 tiles. So all that we have left to do is get rid of all these ladders right here, just like that, and that is it. Well, not exactly. Our critter feeder right here, we gotta set it to hatches, of course, and in hatches, not everything, please. Are you crazy? We need to go only sandstone, please. There we have it. That is what I want to feed him, and that's going to be good. Sedimentary rock, might as well throw that in there as well. So now, let's grab our hatch, let's wrangle him with a number 9 priority, and then let's bring him over here. And with that, this chapter should be done, at least for right now. And here's Satse, and he is currently delivering our hatch, and there he is. Now I just need to bring some food in here, that would be nice with a number 9 priority. Please, guys, get it done. Our hatch is hungry, and of course, he also needs to get groomed. But other than that, we're looking really, really good right now. Next on the list is the project right here in the middle, and the reason for it is when we take a look into our F3 overlay right here, we can see it is getting pretty toasty in here, 46.5 degrees. Yeah, that is not fun. And up here on the top, even 58 and 60. Yeah, that is suboptimal, and our natural gas generators certainly don't help with that. So we need to do something about it, and that is exactly what we are going to do right now. So in base, we're gonna grab us insulated tiles, and what would be a good measurement? I'm just gonna plop it in for right now. Let's see, we need a 5 white space right here. Yeah, something like this here should get the job done, because eventually we're gonna go to power, we're gonna grab us a steam turbine, and that will live in here. Of course, not yet, we need to get there. Therefore, let's do something like this here maybe. There we go. A little bit of a space for our liquid reservoir, also never bad. And then right below it, we need a 2 tile high space that has the exact same size as the one above it. And of course, we also need to get into that. Let's plop a ladder right here temporarily, and when all this here is built, we will move on with the next step. Meanwhile, over here on Ingenium, yes, the power has been built, and in F6, let's take a look here. Our pipe all the way along here, yes, has been built as well. That's very good, so we are ready to go for our salt water to be delivered over to Ughista whenever we need it. And how is our second project looking down here? Yes, I would say that looks pretty decent. Very, very good. That is exactly what we wanted. I have noticed something in our germ overlay when we take a look right here. Yes, we have a lot of slime lung, basically everywhere in this area. But if we take a look around our map, we have no slime lung anywhere else. Yes, we have annihilated all of it. Isn't that nice? So I figured might as well do the same here. So instead of just going over to the right, we are going to strip mine this entire area. And the main reason is that we can. And that is literally all it takes. So we're going to get started right here. And we're also going to get started over into this direction here. Want to get rid of all of it. Of course, we will need a tile. Yeah, probably right there is a good point for it. Right here, a couple of those. And then we will need a ladder, preferably a normal one. Let's grab this one here. That should do. Most of this here should be reachable, but the stuff that is not, we're going to make sure it will be. So something like this here should get the job done. Everything should now be reachable, and the dupes have more than enough to dig once again. And yes, everything is taking a little bit longer if you only have 2 dupes, but Silence in Place is building the last tile, which means we can stop him right here and we can build the next steps that we need. For example, in utilities, of course we need a thermoaqua tuner built out of steel, and we need it right there. Then in plumbing, we of course need a liquid pipe thermosensor that lives right here. And then we need some piping, something that looks kind of like this here maybe, that should get the job done. And then we're going to plop in a liquid bridge. That is of course our standard bypass and nothing out of the ordinary at all. Next on the list is we also need the input pipe, because later on we will not be able to enter this area anymore, and this here is needed as well. Might as well already plop it in, as a matter of fact, doesn't really make a difference. It's perfectly fine. Since we already added, we could do it, so we definitely will. And then one more thing, just normal pipes. This is going to be a temporary build. We are going to come, let's see, out of here all the way down to there. And then we're going to come probably just right through here. Yeah, why not? That should get the job done. Liquid went right there. And of course, a liquid bridge that lives right there. So everything should be now there that we need for our infrastructure, at least for the beginning, with the exception, of course, might as well put that in as well, where we add a bottle emptier right there. And now we definitely have everything that we need to complete this build here, hopefully very, very soon. And in the meantime on Abundino, just a quick update, you can see it, our 2 gas reservoirs have been built, as well as our 3 hydrogen generators, and of course we're already running off of the system exactly as it should be. The only thing missing is that these 2 little pieces of pipe here have to go. And now we are ready to go for everything that the game is gonna throw at us, at least if it is power related. And now in the middle of cycle 700, we have everything built that we need for right now. Of course, I forgot the wire here earlier, the automation wire, but don't you worry. Of course, now it is in there where it belongs, which means officially we can close this here off. That is half of what we need. But the dupes are not going to be bored until the water is here or whatnot, because we can already get started with our loop. And our loop is going to go something like, well, what is our loop going to do? I'm not entirely sure. Let's take a look here. We're going to come up here. We're going to go into right there. We're going to come out of here. And then let's grab us some radiant liquid pipes. And we still don't have any aluminum right here. Yeah, that is a problem, but that is okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to bring some aluminum over here right when we are done. But for right now, we could come out here with an insulated pipe, come over here, switch over to a normal liquid pipe, of course made out of igneous rock, and then come up the ladder. Come all the way over, and I'm going to build everything out of normal pipes right now, and that is of course not going to stay this way, but that is totally fine. Then I'm going to come through here, I'm going to come down here, we're going to come back over to the right, and then we're going to go further down. How are we going to do this? We could theoretically just put a double loop into here, something like this here. Yeah, there we go. And then down here on the bottom. Now we need insulated again because we have insulated tiles here. Certainly don't want to mess with those. That is completely pointless. Right here, I want to put in more radiant liquid pipes. And then we're going to come back up all the way through here maybe, and then here straight over. Yes, that will complete our loop. And the dupes can build on that however much they want until the water is here, because then we can finish this here up. But the dupes certainly shouldn't be bored while we are doing that. But now let's head over to Abundino and let's get us some aluminum. And now on Abundino, yes, we have 1,000 red bolts available, which means we can come down here, we can turn everything off, and then we can find us. Let's find it. Come on, where you at? Refined metal, aluminum, and allow manual use. And then when we turn up the speed, we should see somebody come by immediately. Yes, of course. And here comes wonderful aluminum, and we're just gonna send a couple of tons over there, so it doesn't really matter though, because we have certainly enough aluminum. And then back over here on Ingenium, of course, we also need some salt water, so let's hook up the power. That should be immediate, and of course it is. And right here we have salt water coming. So let's bring a little bit in here. It doesn't really matter how much, just a little bit. Yeah, let's see, a little bit more, and let's cut it off right there. Something like that should get the job done. It's really not very precise what I'm doing here, but it also doesn't matter. All we have to do is to cover the chamber on Ughista on the very bottom. That's all it takes, and that is certainly what we are going to accomplish here. So let's wait wait until the saltwater arrives on Ughista. Meanwhile, the dupes over here on Ingenium making insane progress, and yes, look at this here. We uncovered a neural vacillator, so I would say that is going to be our next target. We're just gonna come all the way straight over to there, and then probably gonna put a tile right there, so at least this oxygen right here is not gonna get contaminated for right now, and then we are going to build us a ladder. And when all that is done, we're gonna plop Jemsterr into here, and then we will see what it does. Meanwhile, over here on Ughista, yes, it looks like the saltwater has arrived, and it looks like it's roughly 55 kilograms per tile, which is more than sufficient. So, let's plop a ladder right here. We will need that in a second, because we're gonna plop an airflow tile here, and an airflow tile right there. Then we're gonna turn this here to water, number 9 priority, and of course, enable auto bottle. And then we're just going to plop a couple of bottles in there, and that should be perfectly fine. And one more thing that I almost forgot, while we are building all of this stuff here, or better to say, finishing it up, of course, in F6, it is time for some radiant liquid pipes, because now we have 2.6 tons worth of aluminum here, so we might as well use them. For example, right here, we're gonna plop this here full with a radiant liquid pipe, so we can take a little bit of the cold that we have and transfer it into our natural gas. That certainly won't hurt. So what else? Up here on the top, maybe a couple of tiles, maybe here along a few tiles, that doesn't hurt, here along a few tiles, and here along a few tiles. That should certainly get the job done. And then right here, all the way across, yes, something like this here should work. Just this one here, I do not want this one here to be radiant, so we're gonna do it this way around, and that will do. Also, on this side here, I do not want these here to be radiant, therefore, we're just gonna do it this way around. That looks pretty decent. Other than that, what else could we do? We could probably build a little bit of a loop out of here, to be quite honest with you. Something like this here should do. Yeah, that actually looks really decent. And then we're just gonna deconstruct all of this here. All of this can go this way once again. This way around, please, is how we want it. And of course, our liquid vent has to go as well. So let's get all of this here done, and then we can already start filling our loop. Meanwhile, over here on Ingenium, yes, our neural vacillator is now accessible, so I would say we are going to find us Jemsterr with a number 9 priority, and we're gonna slap him in there, and we're gonna see what's going to happen. But while we wait and play the game while we do it, down here on the bottom we have all this polluted water, and you can see it, I already started to put a wall in here. But now we're going to extend that wall. We're gonna come all the way over to here, something like this here. Very simple and straightforward. And then all we need is a ladder, not like this, but like that. And look at this here. This ladder here actually worked out just fine. There we go. Something like this here should do. And then we just going to, yeah, let's just give a big command for everything. Who cares? Let's get it done. And then right here a couple ladders so we can go over top. So let's drop all this polluted water into this basin right here, and then at some later point we will certainly figure out what we are going to do with it. And now right here Jemsterr is done. Let's first of all get us our wonderful piece of data bank right there, and then complete the neural process. Jemsterr is gonna come out, and what did he get? Of course, now he has it. Sunny disposition. Stress negative 20% per cycle. We could have really used that when he was on Ughista, but it is what it is. He will definitely still be able to use it on the next Planetoid. And now we're here on Ughista, the first bottle was just delivered, and now we have water in here. Isn't that nice? 55 kilograms on the bottom, and currently, what are we gonna get here? Roughly 40 kilograms probably on the top. That is going to be good. One more bottle, and we should be golden. In F6, it looks like everything has been built, except this one thing needs to get taken care of, and then we can already connect this here up. It's literally this simple. So, let's put some polluted water into our circuit, and then we should be able to see the cooling power unfold. While the water is being loaded over here in F2, you can see I connected a cable just like this here. It's not very beautiful, but it will certainly get the job done. And I also built a second large power transformer, but how are we going to use that? Well, I have an idea. How about we go into power? We are going to grab us a conductive wire bridge, plop it right there, and then with wires, let's make them out of cobalt for right now. That's going to be a long wire, so that's going to be a slight problem. We're gonna come up here and then straight across there, all the way through. And then let's see, can we come along here? Yes, we can. And then all the way over to there. And as soon as that is connected, I'm gonna snip it off right there, and I will separate our two different power circuits for two different large power transformers. And that should certainly help out, because our potential load right now is at 2485 watts, and that is definitely not optimal. And now it looks like we have more than enough water in our loop, so in F6 we should be able to snip this line here off, something just like that, and then of course connect it back together right there where I snipped it off. You probably didn't see that, but that is okay. Just a little snip right here so we don't have the water rotating around, so it goes a little bit faster, and it's looking really good. So let's fill up our loop at full speed please, and then we will finish this build. And now, last but not least, yes, our system is ready and it is running. All we need is these two tiles right there. Satsui, please don't stand around in there. As a matter of fact, we should probably not build these two tiles here before we actually clean up after us. So let's do that real quick. And as soon as that is done, we're gonna plop in those last two tiles, and then we will take another look when all of the water here is boiling and it's running exactly as it should. And now everything is working exactly as it should, and that should be reflected in our F3 overlay, and as we can see, it certainly is. Everything is slowly but steadily becoming nice and green and not really red and orange anymore. Even over here on the right side, I put in 2 single pieces of radiant liquid pipe, which should help out with the temperature in this area here as well. Definitely not too much though, because over here it's not too bad yet, so we gotta be a little bit careful, but other than that, it's looking great. And on top of that, down here on the bottom, our hatch. Yes, is extremely happy. Currently he is glum, not entirely sure why, but that is perfectly fine because right over here we already have a hatchling egg, and that is exactly what we need. He's currently being groomed, so let's speed it up for a second. And he is not glum anymore because now he's happy, and apparently he just wanted to be groomed. Isn't that nice? Just like a little puppy. And then over here on the bottom right, you can see that I put in 2 extra fish feeders because I wasn't sure how low the water is going to drop when we pump it out. Eventually it's going to drop further and further, so we need to look out for that. But for right now, we are still doing perfectly fine. Next time around though, we need to make sure that we find a solution for our Pakus, and most importantly, our tungsten volcano right here is currently dormant. Did I see that right? Yes, it is currently dormant. So that works out in our favor perfectly, so we need to get going with this right away before it becomes active again. But that is all I have for you today, so if you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel, leave a like on the video, and of course comment down below. You know it, I'm always happy to hear from you. And with that I say thank you and peace.